Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this Edward Jones webinar, Resilient Choices, How to Thrive in Retirement. My name is Sandy Miller. Before we get going, let me highlight a few of the features on your screen that we're going to be using. On your screen right now, you should already see a video window with me inside. There should be another window with our presentation slides and a third window for our Q&A feature. If for some reason you have any difficulty during the program, you can click on the Help icon at the bottom of your screen. That's the black question mark inside the yellow circle. This is for any technical questions you may have. We also have a team on standby ready to assist you if at any time during our discussion you have a question or would like clarification on a point. Just click on the Q&A icon, which is the third button from the left at the bottom of your screen. That will allow you to send in your questions. We will do our best to answer your questions in the allotted time we're given. If your question is not answered, please follow up with your Edward Jones financial advisor. If you do not have an Edward Jones financial advisor, please click on the Find an FA widget below. We also have a lot of helpful resources and information available for you inside the Resources icon, which is located next to the Q&A icon. All right, now that you know your way around, let's get started. Preparing for and living securely in retirement is a primary goal for many Americans. But we all know that as much as we plan and prepare, life doesn't always unfold as planned. In fact, many pre-retirees and retirees experience cannonballs or curveballs along the way. On this webinar, our panelists will share insights gathered from today's retirees on common cannonballs and curveballs in retirement, as well as the course corrections they found to be most impactful to help you better prepare for and thrive in your next chapter. Joining us for today's discussion is Edward Jones Senior Retirement Strategist, Catherine Tierney. And Catherine, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive into the insights, can you tell us a little bit more about where this information comes from?
Absolutely. Thanks, Sandy. Most of the insights I'm going to share today come from our third major study in collaboration with AgeWave, a thought leader on aging and longevity. We commissioned this research to help us gain meaningful insight into today's investors and their families, specifically how people view retirement today and what forces are reshaping how people prepare for this life stage so that we can better serve them along their retirement journey. With our first study, we introduced a comprehensive framework to help people live well to and through retirement. The framework consists of 4 pillars: health, family, purpose, and finances, all of which are highly integrated and critical to well-being in retirement. In our second study, we investigated how retirement unfolds in stages. And in this third study, we surveyed roughly 10,000 adults in the US to better understand the potential ways for Americans to meet life's challenges and improve their lives across the 4 pillars.
That's great, Catherine. I know we're going to talk in depth about the study's insights, but at a high level, can you share some of the study's key findings?
Today's retirees and pre-retirees are really redefining what success in retirement means to them. They're more active and engaged. And for them, success is about thriving across all 4 pillars, which again are health, family, purpose, and finances. However, as you noted in the opening, retirement is not a linear journey. 75% of retirees have experienced what we call a curveball or cannonball event in retirement. Curveballs are minor setbacks and cannonballs are major derailers. The difference between surviving and thriving in retirement is how one deals with these challenges. It starts with thorough preparation for retirement and then requires ongoing adaptability and strong resilience once retired. In fact, 93% of the retirees we surveyed agreed that preparation, flexibility, and willingness to adapt are keys to success in retirement. And while it's important to be prepared financially, retirees are really looking to better their lives in a holistic way. Throughout today's discussion, I'll share some of the most common and impactful course corrections, both financial and non-financial, according to the retirees we surveyed.
All right, well, let's start with the curveballs and cannonballs. What are some of the most common and disruptive events for retirees?
A large majority of retirees, in fact, 69% of men and 81% of women, have experienced at least one of the curveballs or cannonballs on our list in retirement. The most common are having a family member or close friend pass away, followed by personal health issues, spouse partner health issues, and then a significant financial setback. However, the two most disruptive cannonballs are widowhood and divorce. 11% of the retirees we surveyed have been widowed since retiring, with 77% describing it as extremely disruptive to their lives. And according to the US Census Bureau, women over age 65 are nearly twice as likely to be widowed as men. While only 3% of respondents have divorced since retiring, 58% of those who did found it extremely disruptive. And the third most disruptive cannonball was experiencing a significant financial setback, with 56% finding it extremely disruptive. It's also important to understand that retirement itself can be the curveball or cannonball, depending on your situation. From our prior studies, we know that 3 in 10 retirees say they were forced to retire unexpectedly, with the most common reasons being health issues, job loss, and family responsibilities, including caregiving.
So, what are some of the course corrections people can make if they experience a curveball or cannonball?
Sure, let's start with the health-related course corrections. Good health enables and poor health constrains all you want to do, feel, and accomplish in retirement. As a result, 96% of retirees agree that health is even more important than wealth when it comes to thriving in retirement. As we just highlighted, it's one of the most common curveball and cannonball events, and both pre-retirees and retirees' greatest financial worry in retirement is healthcare and long-term care costs. Now, among the retirees we surveyed, the 3 most common health-related course corrections were regularly challenging oneself mentally, making more preventative care visits to the doctor, and becoming more physically active, while the 3 most impactful course corrections included becoming more physically active, meaningfully reducing stress levels, and meditation. Taking steps to improve your health can also help mitigate the risk of certain diseases, allow you to maintain your independence longer, and reduce potential healthcare and long-term care costs. These changes can also impact the pillars of purpose and family by not only giving you a sense of accomplishment, but also by allowing you to spend more years with your loved ones.
Speaking of loved ones, did the study identify any family-related course corrections?
It did, and it's probably no surprise that the most common and impactful course corrections in this pillar start with spending more quality time with family. More than half of retirees have already done so, and 59% of those who have say it significantly improved their quality of life. Grandparents in particular have a special opportunity for quality time by helping care for grandchildren. 54% of retirees with grandchildren have done so, and 58% of them say it significantly improved their lives. What may be more surprising is the impact of cutting out or limiting time with toxic family and friends. 45% of retirees have tried this course correction, and 59% of those retirees who did so say the impact was significant. Other important course corrections in this pillar focus on family communication, creating boundaries. Nearly half of partnered retirees say they've already discussed and aligned on retirement plans and goals with their spouse or partner. Less common, but often needed, is setting boundaries with family about how much time and money retirees can afford to spend on those family members. Perhaps the most essential family conversations today are between boomer parents and their millennial children who are anxious about their parents' financial futures. 2/3 of millennials with living parents or in-laws are concerned that their parents or in-laws may not have enough money to live comfortably in retirement. And 61% worry that their parents or in-laws may become financially dependent on them. What's more is that 83% of millennials would rather know that their parents are financially secure throughout retirement, even if it means their parents pass on less money to them. And at the same time, retirees do not want to be a burden on their families, with 79% saying they would not seek financial support from their family. Opening the lines of communication can be difficult and even awkward, but doing so can go a long way in strengthening relationships and helping to ensure financial security across generations.
Those are some great insights. Let's move to purpose next. What were some of the purpose-related course corrections that retirees have made?
The purpose-related course corrections were among the most impactful. They were also the most evenly dispersed in terms of how many retirees have done them, which I think is really reflective of how personal purpose is. People find purpose in various ways, and what works for one person may be completely off limits for another. Let's take adopting a pet as an example. Among the 1/3 of retirees who've adopted a pet, 71% say it improved their lives significantly, the highest of all course corrections in our survey. However, 45% of retirees say they have no interest in adopting a pet. Others may find purpose doing new and interesting things, being generous and giving back, or living a family-focused or faith-filled life. Finding new sources of purpose can be especially important in retirement as previous sources such as work and family responsibilities wane. Interestingly, the most common action on this list, reconnecting with old friends, is seen as the least impactful. Making new friends can make a bigger difference. The key to finding purpose in retirement is exploration, trying new experiences or rekindling past ones to find ways to spend your time that are fulfilling to you. And if you are a pre-retiree, that is someone who is within 10 years of retirement, consider test driving some of the anticipated activities before you get there to see how they suit you. Doing so can help better prepare you for the transition and reduce the feelings of disorientation that are common among many new retirees. In fact, almost a quarter of retirees say they find it challenging to find a purpose in retirement.
I think that brings us to finances. What did the study reveal about finance-related course corrections?
Financial course corrections can make the difference between thriving and struggling in retirement. The options are many and varied and often done in combination. Retirees and pre-retirees would benefit from familiarizing themselves with the range of potential course corrections, discussing financial matters with family, and seeking trusted guidance when needed. Among the retirees we surveyed, the most common and most impactful financial course correction was reducing or eliminating debt. Just over half of retirees say they have reduced or eliminated mortgage, credit card, or other debt to be more financially secure. Of those who've done so, 60% say the course correction significantly improved their well-being. The second most impactful financial course correction was saving as much as possible while working. In fact, what retirees most wish they'd done differently in preparing for retirement is saving earlier and saving more. Two other common and high-impact financial course corrections are obtaining supplemental health insurance and developing and following a financial plan. One course correction I want to highlight specifically is working in retirement, because the benefits of working in retirement span all four pillars. About a quarter of the retirees surveyed have already worked in retirement, and another 45% would consider doing so to improve their financial security, while 35% would do so for non-financial reasons such as staying active. Additionally, 3/4 of today's pre-retirees would consider working in retirement, and 2/3 are interested in phasing gradually into retirement. For those who are able, working in retirement can have profound effects on financial security. These retirees can earn more income and accumulate more retirement savings. They can delay or reduce tapping into their retirement savings and can often delay initiating Social Security benefits, which can increase their eventual monthly benefits. They can, in short, afford a longer and more financially secure retirement. And the non-financial benefits are just as profound. Working in retirement keeps people mentally active, a benefit both retirees and pre-retirees find more valuable than the paycheck. Keeps them physically active, socially connected, and can give them a stronger sense of purpose and accomplishment.
That's all been really interesting, Catherine. Let me ask, are there steps people can take to prepare for a potential curveball or cannonball?
Absolutely. And doing so can really help minimize the impact of a setback, such that what could have been a cannonball event may just be a curveball, or what would have been a curveball may become a non-event. Thinking about some of the most common and impactful cannonballs and curveballs, here are some steps you can take to prepare. First, maintain an adequate emergency fund. We generally recommend that you hold 3 to 6 months in total expenses set aside for emergencies. And we recommend you keep your emergency fund in a separate account that holds cash or cash equivalents, such as a money market fund. An emergency fund can help you avoid tapping your retirement account early. And once retired, you still need a sufficient emergency fund for unexpected expenses, especially since you have less time to recover from a setback. You should also maintain adequate insurance coverage. At minimum, you'll want health insurance as well as home and auto insurance to cover your property. If you're still working, we also recommend disability insurance. And if you have dependents, such as a spouse or children, Make sure you have sufficient life insurance to take care of your family's needs in the event of your untimely death. Depending on your situation, you may also want to consider long-term care insurance. Next, consider your spouse when claiming Social Security. Your spouse is generally eligible to receive spousal and survivor benefits based on your Social Security record if higher than their own. If you claim your benefit early, it will not only reduce your benefit, but the benefits available to your spouse as well. This can be especially critical for women given their longer life expectancies and greater dependence on Social Security in general. You should also know that if you're divorced and were married at least 10 years, you may be eligible to take benefits on your former spouse's Social Security record. You'll also want to involve both spouses or partners in financial discussions and savings. Even if your spouse or partner takes the lead role, it's important that both of you build financial literacy, have a full understanding of your financial picture, and know where important documents are kept. Additionally, if you're still contributing to a retirement account, consider contributing to accounts in each spouse's name. Since retirement accounts are individual accounts, this can help protect you in the event of divorce. And you'll also want to ensure that you have core estate planning documents in place and up to date. If you don't have a will, trust, or some combination of the two in place, now is the time to get started. You'll also want to review your beneficiary designations and asset titling at least annually to ensure your assets will pass according to your wishes. And finally, I really doubled down on some of the course corrections we've already highlighted today, as many can help reduce the potential for and impact of unexpected events, including taking proactive steps to improve your health, opening the lines of communication with your family, and exploring and test driving retirement.
Great advice. We've spent a lot of time talking about potential setbacks in retirement. Did the study find that there were positive surprises in retirement?
Yes, and thank you so much for asking that, Sandy. We do tend to focus on the negative events as these are likely the things that worry us the most. But you're absolutely right. There are positive surprises in retirement as well. We call these positive events windfalls. 8 in 10 retirees reported experiencing a windfall in retirement. Some of the most fulfilling windfalls we identified in the survey are becoming a grandparent, taking a dream vacation, and discovering a new or renewed sense of purpose in life. And windfalls can also motivate course corrections across the 4 pillars. For example, new grandparents may take better care of their health to keep up with the grandchildren, or they may adjust their finances and investments to contribute to their grandchildren's education.
Catherine, we really appreciate your time today. Any final thoughts that you want to share before we wrap up?
Sandy, as I was preparing for today's webinar, I spent a lot of time thinking about this term course correction. And I really like this term because I think it reminds us all that we are all on an implicit course, one that's been determined by our intentional choices and perhaps by some unintentional ones or even potential inaction on our part. But we are all on an implicit course. And the question I would encourage everyone to reflect on is whether the course you're on is the one that you want. After all, that is the starting point for any course correction. Determining what you want, assessing where you are currently, and developing a strategy to get you on track. And if you're unsure where to start, reach out to your financial advisor who would be happy to help.
Catherine, thank you for joining us today and for sharing these valuable insights. We appreciate it. As I mentioned earlier, we have several resources that we hope will help you during this time. Be sure to check them out by going to the resource icon on your screen. We're now going to start the Q&A portion of the program. We have a team of subject matter experts waiting online to answer your questions through the Q&A widget. Please remember that there will not be any video during this portion. You will only see a slide prompting you that the Q&A is now in session. Rest assured, the webinar is still live. We will do our best to answer your questions during the allotted time. If your question is not answered, please follow up with your Edward Jones financial advisor. If you don't have an Edward Jones financial advisor, please click on the Find an FA widget below. I also want to remind you that this broadcast will be available again on demand using the same link you used to register for today's program. Please note our upcoming webinar as well. Thanks again for joining us, and please enjoy the rest of your day.